There is a stark difference between interests that genuinely pull at your heartstrings. You light up whenever this subject is brought up. You live and breathe this subject, versus topics, discussions, aesthetics, boxes, cults that you've been put in and you feel like you cannot come out. You've been put onto this rat race that you can never win. And I feel like at the beginning of aesthetics culture and the definition of the word aesthetics online, in online spaces, especially on the short form content video platform place that I don't want to say the name of for whatever reason in this sentence right now, it felt innocent. It felt like people exploring different niches, people getting a sense of individuality, people creating communities in the only third space we had available to us at the time, that was the internet, especially since that was off the back of the pandemic. It was innocent, it was fun, it was cute, it was quirky. I was all for it. Unfortunately, there are so many videos of me being all for it. However, 4 years on, 5 years on, aesthetics have become this sort of box that people now feel the need to categorize every single inch of the internet, and therefore every single inch of themselves, into. Let me explain. But firstly, hi, I'm Ash. If you've been here before, I have thoughts again, and if you're new here, please listen to those thoughts. This video comes about because a few days ago I watched a video by one of the creators that I've always come back to for just short, snappy, well-edited videos every so often, Nathan Zed. And he made a video about how he's had the last sort of year to really self-explore and take a leap of faith in an interest that he previously was a bit hesitant about, was a bit scared to do. And part of that was because he had what to most of us seems like a pretty great YouTube career. He had so many views and they were so well edited and it was so professional. It seemed like that was the be-all and end-all, but he knew that there was something more for him, and he is now undertaking a film degree. How do I get from that to this video? Basically, it felt like he was someone who was in this box. I came to him for cultural commentary that was very digestible, very quick, very well edited, and that was the end of it. But he as an individual had higher ambitions, produced this video detailing this part of his life, revealing this part of his life that I as a viewer wouldn't have known. It was so emotive that I spent a whole day thinking about it. I journaled about it. Genuinely, how many times can you say you've watched a piece of content and spent the rest of the day thinking about it? It is very rare for people to kind of have pieces of content that stick with them, but this stuck with me because I realized that this happens to so many people, where you can tell a creator is stuck in a niche. Whenever they try and branch out and do something differently, they basically get backlash from their audience, and they cannot live with that backlash because the platform is their life form. Like, they cannot survive without the support of the people who are watching those videos. So then they end up just remaking the same videos, rehashing the same thing, recreating the same outfits, not really branching out. Even though these are examples of people who the internet is their livelihood, I feel like this applies to so many more people than we realize. Because you have picked a certain career, a certain degree, a certain aesthetic, a certain dress sense, a certain path in your life, you are no longer afforded the chance to rethink. You are no longer afforded the chance to reevaluate who you are now versus the person who made the choice that you're living in. There's this general societal sense that 18-year-old you has completely paved the way for the rest of your life and the sort of decisions that you're going to make, and that's it. Like, you're not allowed to branch out. And I feel like that's also happened with the internet, where once you have committed to following the trend cycles, to following the aesthetics, you have to continue following the course of the rabbit wheel. You can't end at, actually, I like skinny jeans, I'm gonna wear skinny jeans for the rest of my life because I think they suit me. You can no longer wear skinny jeans because we decided however many years ago that these are unsuitable, and if you leave those behind, then you are essentially leaving behind your community because you've decided that you do not want to identify the same as everyone in that community. Minale made a video recently about how individual style is dead. The original purpose of aesthetics was to ensure that people could self-express in those different aesthetics, put the hashtag so other people who like the same thing can find you, but then you sort of share and learn from each other and grow from each other to, actually, you're not doing this aesthetic right because you've done it incorrectly, or you've slightly deviated, so therefore you're not following this path, and that leads leads to an almost sort of creative burnout that already mirrors the burnout that people are facing in other parts of their life. I feel like it's inevitable that the more you try to put certain areas of your life in a box, the more stifling that box becomes, whether it's to do with your style, whether it's to do with your career, whether it's to do with your content. How do we fix this? I feel like we just need to take the word aesthetics out of the collective vocabulary. It has served its purpose. It is now more of a marketing tool than anything else, and if you don't want to be marketed to, and if you want to explore your personal style, but I feel like I've reached a point in my personal style where I also feel very stumped, because I'm a person who enjoys talking about clothing, but then when I used to post videos and I would wear a very basic outfit, I would get the comments of, well, isn't it ironic that you're talking about fashion but you're not in this sort of avant-garde outfit, and you've sewn this like out of this world corset, and you've demonstrated, like, your presence has to demonstrate your prowess or your knowledge of fashion, or people who discuss this sort of thing look this certain way, and therefore I was being gatekept from the aesthetic, and therefore I'm not allowed to explore this interest. So even if I had gotten to the point where I wanted to do more extravagant outfits and not look basic or whatever the word, I couldn't, because I already didn't meet those certain sets of markers. People are afraid to explore because of those expectations that are already put on what that journey is supposed to look like. I'm gonna bring the fitness people in as an example. As a person who's started taking running seriously and movement seriously, I've noticed that there's a big push online that if you are now in your winter arc, in your big fitness journey, it has to look a certain way. You have to have the Gymshark sets, you have to have a million workout clothes. That it just doesn't make any sense, because I'm like, I'm just starting into this thing, I don't know if I'm gonna like this thing. Why do I need 7 sets of trainers off the bat? It's so cultish so immediately, and it is miserable. It is absolutely miserable. I challenge you to have one day where you look at something, go into the least curated, heavily piles of clothing vintage shop you can find, where nothing has been curated, nothing has been steam ironed for you, nothing has been picked out for you, and you find something that you think is pretty, is nice, is appropriate for you to wear, is your style, without the external influence of anyone else. I can guarantee you so many people cannot do that, because we are so used to being spoon-fed boxes and aesthetics that are supposed to go with it, even down to, you are this body type, this is your color analysis. No one is allowed to make an individual personal choice, and it makes choice scary. In a world where choice fatigue is already an issue, it makes choice scary. It makes risk scary. It makes things bland. You have even fashion magazines being afraid to take risk and just saying, oh, we're gonna just put this random celebrity on the cover, and it's so depressing, and it has made the consumption of any creative media really stifling, because every single thing that you are seeing is the exact same. I want to see vibrant, I want to see rule breaking, I want to see something that really is an eye turner, and unfortunately that level of creativity is no longer rewarded on the internet anymore. Algorithms really value the repetition, the recreation of, this was popular before, we'll popularize it again. It is in search of more people to stuff into boxes, and that is very frustrating for creatives. I'd imagine it's very frustrating to not be able to fully express an idea, fully realize an idea, because you're not afraid that this artificial algorithm is going to pick it up, that you're not afraid that people who are afraid to challenge themselves, challenge their views and explore, are not going to get it, and therefore it's not going to gain the traction that it deserves. There are so many people who create content in the fashion space who will never get the recognition that they deserve, purely because they do not tick people's boxes. If you have any suggestions of creators that you think I should watch because of my rant and how impassioned I am about this, please do recommend them. And if you are a creator who's doing the work, who is breaking the boundaries, who is breaking the aesthetic bubble, please also highlight yourself in the comments. But otherwise, until next time, thank you very much for watching. Bye!